Welcome to the DRF College Sports Podcast, brought to you by DRF Sports. Daily Racing Form, America's most trusted name in horse racing, is now providing sports bettors with exclusive data analytics, previews, videos, and expert picks on all major sports. Bet smarter and have more fun doing it. It's the DRF College Sports Podcast, and now your hosts, Jack Fitzpatrick and Bennett Conlin. Ready, set, bet. Welcome into the DRF College Sports Podcast. My name is Jack Fitzpatrick. I'm joined, as always, by Bennett Conlin, Mr. 1-6 Bennett Conlin on his best bets. We're going right there. We're going right for the jugular to start this podcast. I feel like I have some legs to stand on. Your boy went 3-0 in his best bets, 3-1. I gave out a Mountain West parlay, and I know it's a parlay, so every leg has to hit and technically doesn't hit. But if you tailed it putting singles down,
no.
Give me that one too. That one went 3-1. But no, 3-0 on the best bets. Good
That's
stuff.
Pretty good.
How are you feeling?
No, not good. I mean,
how's your bankroll doing?
1-6 is terrible. So I mean, you just try to bounce back and you stay humble. And I think you're, I'm due for a big week, right? I think that's how it works. I've, enjoyed 6 learning experiences. I've learned a lot over the last week.
You know what I've learned over this last week? Don't listen to Bennett when it comes to point totals.
Am I bad at point totals?
I think you got the one right with JMU and College of Charleston over. But then you hit 2 point totals in your best bets. St. Mary's in San Francisco under 124 and Hofstra College of Charleston over. I think there were like
1 and 2 in point totals, and you're already off me. Wow, some faith.
I'm 0-1 on point. I hate betting point totals.
Well, maybe we'll hit some totals. Maybe we'll hit some totals here soon.
Probably not, but somewhere you can go and boost your bankroll. Look at that segue. That is an elite segue. Somewhere you can go and boost your bankroll over on DRF Cash Grab. You can download that app free on the App Store or Google Play Store. Start predicting, start winning some real money. Cash Grab, you go in, you play some games, you make some picks on how a game's going to turn out. We have jackpots ranging from $50 all the way up to $56,000. Different games, every game really you can find. Start predicting, start winning, all for free. That's the DRF Cash Grab app, available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And then you can use that money you won, especially if you're in the state of Iowa, to use DRF Sportsbook. Brand new, launched, very exciting stuff.
That is very exciting.
I can hear it in your voice. What have you been working on?
Just everyday stuff. Covering the Southeast, really, Jack. That's a focus for me right now.
Really? So some Louisiana?
Louisiana launch, I did a little bit, not a ton with them. But there was some Mississippi. Does not seem like they're getting mobile sports betting anytime soon. Arkansas, maybe by March.
Ooh.
Maybe by March. And Georgia, there's some rumblings that it could be a big year in Georgia, but we'll see.
North Carolina,
I haven't heard as much, but, anything can happen, as they say.
Yeah, keep your ear to the ground, really keep it going. And while you're down on the ground, maybe figure out how to bet point totals.
Appreciate that.
Well, I think we don't really have much to talk about in terms of housekeeping stuff or conference breakdowns this week. Last 2 weeks we did ACC and SEC. We want to dive a little bit more into mid-majors, but that involves extensive research, and we didn't have that idea until about 5 minutes ago to really go into mid-majors. We'll start with WCC. We have a CAA game to pick for tonight, for Thursday night. So we'll do some CAA talk later on, maybe a little CUSA, because everyone loves Western Kentucky and what Kenny Lofton's doing at Louisiana Tech, that big boy down the middle. But as it's becoming more and more of a thing, are you ready for the low thrill score?
Yeah, let's do it.
2-2 last week. So you're at
pretty
about
good.
500. It's honestly that is pretty good for picking a game that I can guarantee you haven't watched either team more times than not. And they're huge point spreads, and you're normally on the favorite.
Yeah, last week I feel like was a lot of favorite tailing.
It was all but one. But the one you didn't tail the favorite turned out good for you because St. Peter's covered the 13-point spread.
I mean, I knew they would, right? That's a team that's well coached.
Yeah.
Scrappy bunch. I figured that was kind of a lock. In a way, those were my best bets.
Yeah.
rather than my
Let's
best
let's not
bets.
focus on the 1-in-6 mark, as you gave out 7 best bets and only one of them hit.
It was a horrible week. I was pretty Thursday heavy too, so I knew after Thursday that like I was not going to have a good week.
Yeah. All right. So first up, it's Thursday night. It's tonight. It's San Jose State against Utah State. This is one of the ones where there's one team that is just vastly superior to the other, and that's why it's a low thrill score. Utah State's favored by 21 points.
Utah State's actually kind of an interesting like bubble team because they're 13-9, which isn't all that impressive. But like all their losses, aside from one, maybe two, are really good losses, like competitive against pretty good teams. Like they're a
Yeah.
team that if they had won two more of those, you're 15-7, math, and feeling pretty good about yourself, right? Like they had a 2-point loss to St. Mary's at home. That would have been a big one. 2-point loss to Wyoming, 3-point loss to Boise State, 5-point loss to Colorado State. Realistically, you could swing two of those the right way. They have a lot of double-digit victories. So if that does go your way, they're a team with Ryan Odom that's looking pretty good. But Ken Palm's got them at 33. I haven't looked at their net, but maybe a sneaky bubble team here. So I think every game for them matters. They have a lot of winnable games down the stretch, including 3 really important road games that could boost their resume a little bit. San Diego State and Boise State are a couple of those, and Wyoming as well. If you can pick up maybe 2 of those, I actually think they're kind of maybe in the NCAA tournament picture here.
Yeah.
So the long rant here, I wanted to analyze them a little bit because they're an interesting team. I
Yeah.
really like them in this spot against San Jose State. We do it because it's a low thrill score, but I also think it's a really good spot for them betting wise, even if the line is minus 21. They just beat Air Force by almost 30. Nevada, they won by, I think that's almost 30 on the road as well. And they beat San Diego State, about a week ago from when we're recording by almost 20 at home. They're killing teams, like better teams than San Jose State. They're at home. I love that number. If it's only minus 21, I worry it'll be actually closer to like minus 25 or something like that. But I'll say Utah State, and I'll play it up to maybe minus 25.
Yeah. I think that was a really good little breakdown on Utah State too, because we've talked about them a few times.
Mm-hmm.
They're a really good team. What's going to hurt them come NCAA tournament time, you're looking at their schedule. I don't think they might have one quad one win, and that might be the San Diego State. Maybe I think they're looking like they're maybe 0-5 in quadrant 1, which is not good, but Ken Palm has them at 33, and the NCAA tournament does kind of look at that other stuff. If you're a last 4 in or first 4 out, but you have a really good Ken Palm score, it might bump you in. So I like that breakdown. Do you have anything to say on Green Bay and Cleveland State?
Not much. I've kept tabs on Cleveland State because we're JMU guys, and Deshaun Parker's a JMU transfer. They've got a shot to win the conference, the Horizon League. They're one of the teams with the best conference record so far. I think Oakland's probably still the best team in the league. Not that anyone actually cares about that.
Yeah, let's really dive into Horizon League.
But I think I kind of like Green Bay here because you look at like Cleveland State, they're 14-5, and they have like a couple results that are kind of impressive. They took Oklahoma State to overtime. Like that's one that really stands out to me, but they haven't had a ton of blowout wins. They kind of just seem to play close games, and they've had a lot of success in these close games, but it kind of doesn't even depend on opponent. So I think I would take Green Bay plus the 13 here. They're not a good team really on either end, but they've done enough that I think they could cover 13-point spread.
I like that. Moving on, Western Michigan at Ohio. Ohio is favored by 21. Can the Bobcats cover at home?
Yeah, so once you get to Saturday low thrill score, like a Friday low thrill score is not that impressive, right? Because there's only so many Friday games.
It's like 4 games. This is the worst game of the worst.
On like a pretty good day of college basketball. So if you're a Saturday low thrill score, that's tough to hear. I really like Ohio. I think they're a team that's phenomenally well coached. They have a lot of guys that are solid, and some of these guys played in the NCAA tournament last year. It's just a good team that's well coached. They're playing well. They're at home. I'll lean Ohio here. I think that's a play that I like.
And then last but certainly not least, Sunday's low thrill score. It's the reemergence of Cleveland State. Milwaukee this time
Welcome
comes
back.
to them. Welcome back, Cleveland State. I don't know their mascot, the Vikings.
Yep, they're the Vikings.
All right, so Cleveland State, the Vikings, they welcome in whoever Milwaukee is. They're 11-point favorites at home. You liked Green Bay to cover. Do you like – I feel like you might like Milwaukee in this one based off of your breakdown of the earlier game.
I would consider them, but I'm still kind of confused about Patrick Baldwin. I guess he's been battling injuries. And there'd be the assumption that he wouldn't play. 5-star kid, right? And his dad's the
from
coach.
Milwaukee?
Yeah. But they stink. He's barely played this year. They stink.
I got him. I forgot they got him.
I think there is the expectation that he might play. They've been like whatever in conference play, but like some of these losses, especially on the road, they're getting absolutely blown out of the gym. So I actually kind of like going a little Cleveland State. I don't think they'll cover against Green Bay, but if you can get them like -10 against Milwaukee at home on Sunday, I actually kind of like that because I think Milwaukee looks really horrible. And if Baldwin's not available or might not be available all year, then I think it's a solid play for a team that just absolutely stinks on the road.
I love fading them on Friday and riding them on Sunday. I think that's fantastic. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So moving on from low thrill score into the best part of the show. Last week, we say that tongue in cheek because last week we did not do too well against the spread. 2-5-1. Is it safe to say that we're in the fade zone? And by what I mean by that is fade us.
I think we're going to bounce back.
I think so. Speaking of bouncing back, I had a little bit of a cold streak in my betting previews that I've been writing for DRF Sports. Bounce back last night. I got Kansas. I was kind of worried because I picked Kansas at -4.5, and then they had 2 big injuries, and then the line dropped. Like the floor just dropped out from under it and went to -1.5 in favor of Ohio. Like it just swung. And so I was really worried. However, Kansas not only covered, they also covered 4.5. So am I hot? Maybe. Riding Marquette. I'm with the public tonight. I'm riding Marquette.
Yeah, it might be cold again. So,
so as you're listening to this, it depends on if Marquette won or not, if I'm hot or not. So that brings us to game 1 of Thursday, UCLA at Arizona. I'm really excited for this game. 2 power teams, not only in the Pac-12, but also in the nation. Number 3, UCLA against number 7, Arizona. Arizona is favored by 7. The lines for these games are out because it's today, Thursday. What are you leaning in this one? What's your pick? Do you have a pick? Are you leaning either way? Are you waiting to see how the line goes? Should I stop talking so you can talk?
I think Arizona might be one of my favorite plays here. They lost by 16 on January 25th at UCLA.
Yep.
I love them in a bounce back spot. We're talking about the bounce back theme. I think Arizona bounces back. They're a phenomenally good team. That was probably, I would say, their only clunker of the season. Like they've looked really good outside of that. They had the Tennessee loss, which some of that was officiating, but they've been really solid.
Whoa! We're blaming the refs. We're really blaming the refs.
I bet on Tennessee, but I remember that one was like part of that was some home cooking, thankfully in that case. But I like Arizona to bounce back here. Do you feel either way about this game? Because I've also gotten burned even across sports in college football and sometimes the NFL where a team will lose in one of these matchups, and I'm like, oh, well, I love them to bounce back next time. Instead, they just get smoked again.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm trying to pull up a specific stat here to back up what I'm thinking. When they're revenging a loss against an opponent, they're 2-2 against the spread this season, Arizona. They're 3-1 straight up, so that's good, but they're a little bit iffy against the spread. And then when they're revenging a loss against an opponent who beat them by 10 or more, they're 0-2 against the spread. So not huge sample sizes by any means, but it's just I really like looking at how a team bounces back against, especially in the same season against.
So you're telling me they're not big bounce back boys?
Yeah, I'm telling you that they tend to get down and stay down a little bit. But Arizona, they're 2-2 over their last 4 in terms of covering the spread. They are 3-1 over that same time frame. See,
it's also first season with Tommy Lloyd as head coach, so I guess that predates him, right?
Yeah. No, this is all this season.
You're saying just after a loss, they don't cover the spread?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I will say after their 2 losses, they have 2 double-digit wins, so they must have had just big spreads.
Yes, correct.
But I am interested to see how they do, especially going up against a team that just beat them by a good amount.
Yeah, but everything I was saying there, I mean, I think UCLA is a fantastically coached
Doesn't
team.
it? Doesn't it feel like a fishy line a little bit? -7, and they
It,
just got killed by them, and
that's
UCLA is like,
7 seems like a lot. Like if this was like a 3-point spread, a 4-point spread, I'd be like, okay, I can see Arizona maybe late game free throws that get them to like 4 or 5. But 7 just seems like it's too many points. Our game simulators at DRF Sports, they like Arizona to win by only 5. So I think I'm on UCLA +7. I don't think they're going to win, but I think UCLA +7 can cover that.
is it really 7 somewhere?
What are you seeing?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
Oh
I
yeah,
was just looking. I didn't know it would be out yet.
yeah, I'm looking up. I'm on drf.com/sports. It says 7 on the spread.
Wow, that's that's something. If that's really 7, that might make me maybe think a little bit. But yeah, it looks like there's definitely some out. Let me see if I can
Well,
find the.
Arizona's also, according to
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm seeing a -6.
Yeah.
So I think Arizona's a fishy fish, and I love to play a fish. So I think Arizona might be one of my my best bets because that line's hard to explain unless there is like some injury that I'm unaware of.
So you're on Arizona minus the points. I'm on UCLA plus the points.
Fair enough.
Love it.
They do have some. They do have some.
UCLA does.
I want to say they have some COVID stuff going on. So it
UCLA.
seems I'll take this off my best bets, but I would still lean Arizona. But it looks like Ju Zhang and Jamie Jacquez Jr., two of their best players, top 2 scorers,
Ooh.
could return depending on how
Okay.
things go.
Oh man.
So that seems like maybe this is one of those where you like wait until tip. Unless you want to take, honestly, if you want to take Arizona, I mean UCLA.
I was gonna say if
never,
you have like inside information here, or like if you stay up to date, if you're reading, if you just like sign up to the beat reporter like tweet notifications, and you're riding with them, and then like an hour before tip off, the way you feel the air goes against your face, and you're like, I think Ju Zhang's playing, then I'm hammering UCLA +7. But with that information, it makes it a little bit more tough to gauge. But man, COVID's weird.
COVID is indeed weird.
So moving on from COVID-laced UCLA, Arizona, we're moving on to Iowa at Ohio State. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this game. It tips at 8 p.m. tonight. Iowa heads onto the road to take on Ohio State as a 5-point underdog.
Yeah, I was leaning Iowa, but I don't know in this one. Part of me just wants to take the over, but I mean Iowa, they've lost 2 in a row, including one to Penn State. Ohio State's coming off a really hard fought loss where they came back like crazy against Purdue and almost won that game.
Yeah.
I pretty much checked out, and then Purdue needed like a buzzer beater essentially to win it. Ohio State at home is hard to pick against, but it's also one where maybe Iowa can cover +5.
Iowa has failed to cover 3 of their last 4, and dating back to the new year in 2022, they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 3-5 against the spread. After a really solid start to the season, they had a solid start to the season. They kind of fell apart. They're sitting at 14-7. And like you said, Ohio State at home, really hard to bet against so far as a actually, I lied to you. In home games, they're hard to bet against when you're going money line, but spread, they're not too bad. They're 5-4 this season in home games. And then as a home favorite, they're just 4-4 against the spread at home.
Yeah, that's not all that impressive. So I guess maybe I was a play there. Although kind of hard to trust the Hawkeyes because they really don't play much defense. They just score a lot. So I would lean over, but I also think that's like a very public side where it's like, hey, both teams score a lot. Take the over. So probably a stay away from me.
A stay away from you. All right. Just because I want to pick it, it's not going to be a best bet, but I like Ohio State. I know what I just said about them playing at home as a home favorite. They're 500 against the spread this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then dating back to whenever I leave this page. And dating back the last 2 seasons, they're just 22-14. So by no means dominant against the spread at home. But EJ Liddell's a freak. They have a lot of studs. Iowa doesn't play defense. I think Iowa can't necessarily keep it within 5. And also 5's a spot where I think late game, a couple late free throws, if it's kind of close, can push it to 6 or 7, and then you lose that bet. So I'm going Ohio State -5 at home.
Right, I like it.
Moving on to a really, I'm actually excited to talk about this game big time because Boise State takes on Wyoming, and they had to Laramie. But Boise State hasn't lost since December 3rd. They're coming off of a 68-63 overtime thriller against Fresno State. I don't know if you were awake to watch that. I don't think a lot of the country on the East Coast where we're located were. But these last few games, they have a 42-37 slugfest win over San Diego State.
It's disgusting, Jack.
A 4-point win against Utah State. A 3-point win at home against Wyoming. The 5-point overtime. Like, they are grinding out these wins. Like, barely getting wins. But have strung together, what is that, 18 straight win? No.
It's I think it's 14.
I said 18, and they don't even have 18 wins.
I think it's 14 because they won 3 before they haven't lost. So
yep.
I think they were 3-4, and they won 14 in a row. So now they're obviously not a bubble team. They're a team that, and we talked about them earlier in the year about how they kept letting us down and how they were a team that was disappointing given the coaching and the experience. And now they look like maybe a scary team come March. Don't care. I picked against them to lose for a lot of consecutive weeks now, and they won't lose. I don't care. I'm taking Wyoming. They're a best bet. Wyoming Moneyline will be a best bet for me this week. Maybe
I'm a little jaded as well. Maybe I'm just on the fade Boise train until they lose. I'm on Wyoming. Wyoming opened as a 1-point favorite in this one, which is insane to me. But so far this season, I always have this really good, train going, and then I click on a page, and all of a sudden we're all messed up. Wyoming this season, as a favorite, is just 5-4, and 3-3 as a home favorite, and 4-3. As I'm saying this more and more, I'm talking myself out of the Wyoming pick.
I will say I think they're undefeated straight up at home.
They are. They're 9-0 at home, and when it's a 1-point spread.
And it's one that's like, at some point, Boise's going to lose a game. These teams just played in Boise pretty recently, and Boise won by 3. So, I mean, I don't know. It feels like a good spot for them. Like, they play a bunch of close games. Both teams do. I think it'll be close. But I think Wyoming here has maybe a little less pressure because they haven't won 14 games in a row, and they're playing at home.
Yeah, playing at home is a big one. They're coming off of an insane 84-78 win against Colorado State, which is a top 50 KenPom team. They have wins over Utah State. That was really the only other quadrant 1 win. They have a quadrant 1 loss against Boise and Arizona, but
there's a lot of talk about, at least from us, and I think in general, the WCC and 4 bids. You might get 5 from the Mountain West.
Who? Mountain West, you got Utah State.
Utah State's their KenPom's really good. They're only 13-9, so they got to kick some stuff into high gear. But Boise right now would
Wyoming.
Be in. Wyoming would probably be in. Colorado State, I think, is a tournament team.
Yes.
San Diego State. Their metrics are pretty good. They're 12-5.
Their offense. Look at their offense. They have the 206th best offense.
KenPom's got a 32. They really don't have a bad loss. I guess the issue is lack of nice wins, but Colorado State neutral site over St. Mary's by 10. It depends how they finish, but I think you could certainly get, with a weak bubble, I think you get a bunch of teams. And even Fresno State, I think, should be on the bubble.
Yeah, I think another team. 4 teams in. 4 teams in, you have 2 on the bubble. I think they're going to get at least 4 in. That's insane. I think last year they only got 2 in. And Wyoming was bad last year, if I'm not mistaken.
That seems correct to me, if I remember correctly. They've had some
rocky. Yeah, they were 4 last year in KenPom, but it was Jeff Linder's first year at Wyoming.
Seems like he's done some nice stuff with them. So that's a pretty good league, is my point. But Wyoming, I think, is I'm going back to the well.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we just kind of have to continue to fade Boise, and eventually it will pay off for us. And I think this one is it. I thought Fresno was it. If Fresno could have clipped them, I would have been all sorts of hype. But I think Wyoming's going to clip them. I think, because they only beat them by 3 at home.
It just feels like a good spot. Wyoming's also playing really well, right? We don't take out the Boise loss, but they have it. That's their only loss in 2022. They won their last 2 games, and I mean they've won, what is it, like 7 of their last 8 of their last 9, whatever. So they're playing really well too. Good game. Good
and
matchup.
Even before they lost 2 of 3 there from December 8th to this 22nd with losses against Arizona and Stanford, which Stanford has beaten USC twice. So is Stanford a good team? Maybe. But they were undefeated going into that. And then they had that little bit of a trip. Did you shake your head no about Stanford being good?
I did. But they're okay. They're fine.
They're 89th in Ken Palm. But they were undefeated. They had that little stumble, and then they've rattled off winning 7 of their last 8. So good for them. Wyoming, that's the trendy upset pick. You know what else is a trendy upset pick?
You have another one coming? Another upset?
No, not really. This one's just Towson at Hofstra. A little CAA action. Get the CAA juices flowing as JMU announces they're going to the Sun Belt July 1st. So we can only talk about the Sun Belt a little bit more. I mean, the CAA a little bit more.
Yeah. I love me a different CAA game that's worse on the radar. You got to need Towson Hofstra leans. That's Towson Hofstra. There's a legitimate chance. I know what UNCW has done, but come conference tournament, I think Towson Hofstra would not surprise me if that's a game like one of those teams comes out of the conference and makes the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think Towson wins. But what's the game you're looking at?
So UNCW is 9-0, Jack.
I know.
In conference play.
It's insane, isn't it?
It is. So they had the buzzer beater to beat our beloved James Madison Dukes. They had an overtime win at Towson. They've had some close calls. They played a couple of competitive ones with Northeastern. Hofstra game was close. I mean, they're not really winning by double digits. They haven't won a conference game by double digits. So they're 9-0 with 9 single-digit wins, if I'm looking at that correctly. So, I mean, I don't think they're that good. You got an Elon team that stinks, but they're actually not horrible at home. They're not horrible at home. So I'm taking Elon Moneyline Thursday at home. Ken Palm says it's going to be a 1-point game. I still don't think UNCW is that good. I love this spot for Elon. I think you might get him at plus odds. You probably will. It'd be a little bit ridiculous if you don't, but I'm taking it either way. So give me Elon Moneyline. That'll be the best bet for me.
You know what's hilarious? Not only is UNCW 9-0 against a straight up in the CAA, they're 9-0 against the spread.
They're due for a loss.
I don't know about that because then you go down to Elon, and while Elon's really good at home, they're only 3-4 against the spread this season. They're 13-11 at home against the spread the last 3 seasons. So they're by no means dominant down there in Elon, North Carolina. And right now, this game's listed as a pick'em. I imagine once money really starts flowing, because those UNC backers have hefty pockets, we might see a little bit of the swing. But it's currently a pick'em. Line, our power line, and our simulations over there at DRF Sports both like Elon to win by 1. I'm riding UNCW. This magic isn't over. Give me the Seahawks.
No, I think it's over. Well, I mean, it's not even necessarily have to be. It doesn't have to be over. They're not going to run the table in conference play. Like I don't think that's happening. You think they're going to win out?
This magic is going to keep going. They're not going to lose a conference. It's going to go all the way to the NCAA tournament. The Seahawks have something special. I've lost. I was trying to keep that bit going. No, I think they'll beat Elon, though. I do think that. I don't think Elon's that great, even if it's at home. UNCW's been doing fantastic things on the road, including a buzzer beater win against JMU where they were down like 12 with 7 minutes left. I think UNCW's the side in this one. They'll probably be favorites, but I'll ride the money line. I'll fade you and ride the money line on that one.
Love the spot for Elon. Think it's a good spot. So I'll take that one there. The Hofstra Towson's a better game that has more maybe more long-reaching NCAA tournament implications in terms of how they'll meet in the conference tourney or something. But yeah, I'm all over. I'm all over Elon. Which not a good team, but I like the spot for him.
And not a good team at all. All right, moving on from there, we're going to go into Friday's quick slate of games. These games aren't great. There's 2 Mountain West games, and I think we should just talk about the 2 Mountain West games just because we talked so much about Mountain West there a minute ago about them potentially putting 5 teams into the NCAA tournament. two of these teams, one of the games is San Diego State against Colorado State, both teams that you project in. I think San Diego State's a little bit more on the bubble, but big time game. Who do you got in this one and why?
Kind of like a Colorado State bounce back. They've lost 2 in a row. So I think I would maybe lean with them. Bounce back and look at Moneyline or maybe even spread, but I think a bounce back spot for them makes sense.
Yeah, I'm also really high on Colorado State. I really like their big man, Roddy. It's Roddy. Excuse me. I don't know. I also think that San Diego State's offense is going to come and bite them in the butt. They're 206th in efficiency. Their top 3 defense are number 3 in efficiency and defense. Fantastic on that side of the ball. But, I mean, you put up 37 points in a loss. That's absolutely abysmal. They're coming off of a game. Granted, they only allowed 47, but they only put up 72. I say that like that's not a lot. It's a pretty solid number. But I don't know. I like Colorado State. I think their offense can keep it going and take down the Aztecs. And so does KenPom. KenPom lists that about a 2-point spread. I think that's about right. Nevada at Fresno. Any care in the world for Fresno to win this one by 10 at home?
No.
Any pushback? You think they cover that?
This is a Friday game?
This is a Friday game. I love your hatred for Friday games.
Not a big fan of them. They could certainly do it.
You're right.
They could certainly do it. I mean, they're a really good team. They play really well at home. I would probably lean that way just because Nevada kind of stinks. I haven't been very impressed with them this year. I don't know. It doesn't seem like an ideal matchup. They're not all that great at defending 2-point shots. You got a pretty good team in Fresno at scoring the 2, probably because they have a 7-footer in Orlando Robinson, who's like legitimately one of the best players in the country that no one really knows about, but his numbers are crazy. He's a stud. So I might look at that and maybe take Fresno State there. Sure.
Love it. Moving to Saturday, we got a full slate. We have nothing on Sunday, so we beefed up a little bit more on Saturday because, you know, the biggest game of the year is on Sunday in NFL world.
No.
Pro Bowl, AFC, NFC. I'll be riding with the
I'm
NFC
not watching
team.
that.
Yeah, neither am I. Baylor at Kansas.
I can't believe they still do that.
Yeah, why do they? Let's not get into a tangent on that.
Let's talk Pro Bowl.
Let's talk prop bets for Pro Bowl. Do we like Russell Wilson over 4 completions before he gets pulled? So Baylor travels to Kansas.
Yeah.
At Allen Fieldhouse, Bill Self era. They're nearly unbeatable.
I want to put I'm tempted to just smash Baylor here.
Really?
Kansas had some guys out. They're coming off this great win at Iowa State, emotional, going home. Baylor's been in a little bit of a funk here recently. They have not played their best. They had that road loss at Alabama that I did get correct. Put it on the record. That was my one, right?
That was your one that you got.
Yeah, there we go.
Honestly,
baby.
That's the biggest one to get. You got an underdog. That was a good one.
Win. Yeah. So, and it was since 1 of 6 was actually a winning week if you hammered it, folks.
You put 15 units on the
Look, I'm going to give you 8 picks. You're going to have to find a way to distribute it properly, and about 6 of them are going to lose. And if you can do it, I got a lot of money coming your way. I think Baylor would be the team that I would take here, but I'm going to stay away from it just because they're probably underdogs. I don't really know if I want them at an underdog money line. But I will say they lost the one on the road at Alabama, but they do have recent road wins over West Virginia and Oklahoma. They've been really good on the road this year.
Yeah. Okay. I don't care.
Kansas is a different beast, though.
Kansas is a different beast at home, and pair that with the fact that they didn't just lose. It was an 18-point humiliating loss at home against Kentucky. This is their first home game since
that's a good point. Oh, I like that logic.
And they are going to absolutely and they're getting their 2 guys off of injuries or COVID or whatever it was, getting those guys back, work back into the rotation. They just came off of a 9-point win against a good Iowa State team without those 2 guys. Give me Kansas all day. I thought when you were talking about you're going to hammer this game, I thought for sure you were going to say Kansas. But the fact you said Baylor makes me a little concerned for your sanity. But we'll move on past that. We'll go to Kentucky at Alabama. If we're not on the same page on this one, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think we're both on Alabama on this one.
Are you actually on Alabama on this one?
Yeah, big time.
You're lying to me right now.
No, they've won their last.
There's no way you're on Alabama in this
Of
spot.
course, I'm on Alabama. They've
Alabama's
won.
trash.
That's not even remotely true. They're really good at home, though. They've beaten Baylor. They've beaten LSU. They had a game against Auburn that probably could have went either way. They've also beaten Tennessee and Houston at home. Like, their list of home wins is absurd. Houston, Tennessee,
Their resume is
LSU, and
absurd.
Baylor. That's not like they're a tournament team. They're 14-8, but they have so many like unbelievably good wins that I think you're probably pretty excited about what they bring to the table. So I like them in this one. I like them at home. I feel like everyone's going to love Kentucky. I might just play spread and sprinkle money line, but I think they can definitely cover. They've shown the ability to be really good at home.
That is a really good point. They're a different breed at home. That's where all of their huge wins have come this season. Maybe it's me undervaluing them after they just allowed 100 to Auburn in a 19-point loss against an SEC foe. Auburn is the best team in the country, or when you look at metrics, they're the sixth best team. But if you use the eye test, Bruce Pearl's got the Tigers rolling. I think they're the best team in the country. With all that being said, I think Kentucky is also a top team too, and what they did at Kansas, just absolutely obliterating them. I like Kentucky in this one.
Really?
I'm not just trying to fade you, and I'm not just trying to fade Alabama because they've burned me so many times this season. I'm upset at them. I genuinely believe Kentucky's the better team here, and I think Kentucky wins kind of handedly.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a tough loss for you.
All right. Duke UNC, this one's easy. If we're on different sides on this one, again, bro.
I think this is a really good spot to smash the living hell out of Duke.
Thank God. Thank God.
Because North Carolina's won 4 in a row, but there was some wild officiating at Louisville. They also haven't really beaten anyone. I know they're at home and the atmosphere is going to be crazy, but I think Duke is due for one of those games where they just beat like a solid team in a meaningful game on the road. I think they're good enough where I don't think the road will like phase them all that much with Ben Caro and, Wendell Moore, those guys. I think they're kind of built for this matchup. I think they'll be fine. I think they have enough size with Mark Williams and company that they'll hang with Baycott and all that good stuff. So I like the spot for Duke.
I do too. I really like Mark Williams. He was kind of really fun this weekend and fun guy to watch. Also, if they pick up this win, you're looking ahead for Duke, and this is for your Duke future in the ACC. You're looking at the games they have after North Carolina. It's UVA at home. It's against a middle of the road Clemson team at Clemson, a bad BC team, Wake, which is pretty solid, top 43. But then Florida State, Virginia, Syracuse, Pitt. This is also just an indication of how bad the ACC is this year.
We should probably talk about my futures.
I guess it's a good spot for your futures because you got Duke and then you hedged it a little bit with UNC. And now that they're going to destroy each other. And the loser of this game, I think the winner of this game for you is the team you're going to have to put all of your faith into.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I still think Duke wins the league. I think Miami's got some losses coming up. But I think Duke wins the league. And that seemed easy. I also got Houston. I didn't put a ton on it. But the Americans, you got SMU kind of there, and it's the only team that's even remotely close.
Hey, don't disrespect Memphis like that, bro.
Yeah, 5-4 in conference. Memphis. I think they were the ones that they were right behind in the betting odds on DraftKings.
Yeah.
I don't know what the logic was there.
Well, they thought Penny Hardaway would get that team turned around, but then it turned out that Penny Hardaway's a trash coach.
As we all know, Penny Hardaway, the elite basketball coach that he is. Wow. What a world.
It's funny, just to do a quick side note, former players just do not do well as coaches like 90% of the time. Because look at the Fighting Jerry Stackhouses down there in Vanderbilt too.
Some of them work out. Well, a lot of them have played, right? Are you saying alma mater guys?
I'm saying well, not alma mater guys, because I don't think Penny Hardaway went to Memphis. You're looking it up right now, aren't you?
Of course. I thought that's why they were all excited. Yeah, he did go to Memphis. That's why they're all excited about it.
So the alma mater guys, I just don't think perform. Like Juwan Howard, he had a top 10 team preseason with Michigan, and they've just absolutely combusted this year.
But he had them rolling at one point. I don't know. I feel like it's a little hit or miss. Depends on the guy. But I'm
really thinking about Lewis Rowe.
Yeah, our JMU alma mater. I think they also had like Sherman Diller or something who did horribly. But Hardaway doesn't make a lot of sense. He was kind of like a flash hire, right? Because I guess he got the alumni base engaged and was like, oh,
Yeah, James Wiseman. I think that was a big thing. He had a connection with James Wiseman.
Yeah, and they brought out the bag for Bates, but turns out he wasn't really worth the
bag.
Coin.
So we're both riding Duke in a game that we think is going to be a statement victory for the Blue Devils. Moving on, Illinois at Indiana.
I don't have a good feel for this one. You lean on either way?
I'm leaning Illinois. I think, Illinois plays when we're recording tonight. I think
Illinois.
I do too. They play tonight against Wisconsin. So be sure to, shameless plug, check in at drf.com/sports to see any of the latest line movements and then what we're saying with our betting insights. And also you can follow me at FITZ all the way, Fitz all the way. And I'll be talking about Illinois a little bit just because I really like them. They burned me last year in the NCAA tournament. I really had faith in Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn. I had them winning the national championship, and then Loyola Chicago destroyed that. But I think they win tonight in kind of convincing fashion. And then I think going on the road against Indiana, it's a hard place to play, but it's going to be a statement victory. Kofi Cockburn's playing like the national player of the year. And when he's on the floor, this is a different Fighting Illini group. Give me Indiana to lose to Illinois. I said that in a backwards way, but you knew what I meant.
I think Indiana might be they might sneak in the best bets. I like them at home. I think that's a fun spot for them.
It's a great spot. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Like that's going to be a game on Saturday that I'm tuned into, along with 14 other games. But I think that has the ability to be a really good Fox Sports 1 game that'll be on. Maybe
whatever it is. And
Fox, whoever gets
tough to hear about your bracket too, because I actually had a perfect one last year, third year in a row for me. Yeah, 3 years in a row, which is awesome. I'm excited about that. So,
how many learning experiences in your bracket though?
No learning experiences. Just 3 consecutive perfect brackets that I've just kept to myself. Just pen and paper. Just
me
and myself.
Imagine if there's someone out there that has a perfect bracket, but just never says anything.
Doesn't put it in anything either. Doesn't submit it in like a contest. Yeah.
Who'd you have win the national title last year?
Who won the national title?
No, I'm not giving you that. Them. I picked them. Baylor.
I'm trying. I had Gonzaga. Yeah. So I didn't actually have a perfect bracket, but I had.
Now it comes out. Now the truth.
I thought the Zags were going to complete the undefeated season. I love the way they were playing. Shout out to Baylor. Even going into that game, I thought the Zags would be the team, but Baylor's awesome. They had it rolling.
Gonzaga went down 10. I thought they were still going to win that game.
Yeah, especially in the beginning, right? They got punched in the face. And it was like, well, don't worry, they're Gonzaga. And then the buzzer expired and the game was over. It's like, well.
Okay, Scott Troop. Speaking of Gonzaga.
Yeah, you got to talk me out. You got to talk me out of BYU Moneyline.
Oh, I was hoping. Whoa, Moneyline. Pump the brakes, Bennett.
Gonzaga is so due for a loss. They're so due.
Terrible rationale.
For the first time
that's the exact rationale we've used on Boise State the last 3 podcasts. They're due for a loss.
First time they play, BYU only loses by 26.
Only, okay.
I kind of like that. They're playing at home. They've lost 2 in a row. What's not to like?
Well, they do play on Thursday against San Francisco.
Yeah, I like the under in that one. The under in that one's the best bet.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So you think they're going to be you think coming into this game, they're going to have lost 2 of their previous 3.
Maybe even all 3. Yeah.
Maybe even all 3. So they're just in a really low point. They need this more than Gonzaga needs it. It's at home for BYU. You're looking at their stars, Alex Barcelo, Caleb Lohner, Gideon George, Tajon Lucas. You're looking at them and you think this is the moment that they're going to put a stop to Chet Holmgren and Drew Timme.
Yeah, I like what they did against Timme in the first one. They only gave up 30 points to him. They held him to 13 shooting from 2. So I kind of like, they can build off that, right? You see the film where it's like, okay,
nothing we did.
Here's what not to do, right? And now that they've learned that, Andrew Nembhard only had 12 assists. Like that's something that I think is really positive for them. They give up 78% shooting on 2-point shots because they have absolutely no size. I think I'm going to take them to cover though. I'll see what happens in the San Francisco.
Looking a little thin too.
I think I'll probably sprinkle Moneyline just because I like their atmosphere. I think they have.
I think they're fighters.
They have a good home court. It's going to be packed. People are going to be going crazy in there. And yeah, like you said, they're fighters. They're scrappers. The issue is they legitimately don't have size. Like their rotation, they don't go bigger than 6'9", and really 6'8" is the biggest. A lot of 6'6" guys. They got a 6'6", 254. Big guy. So I don't know. They're going to get smoked by Timmy probably.
Yeah.
But it's one that just feels like a spot where it's like, oh, BYU clipped them. They always clip them. They always find a way to clip Gonzaga.
I feel like that's a fake storyline that I've implanted in your brain because I watched
2020.
BYU.
As we all recall, Gonzaga, 31-2, probably a COVID national title favorite, right? But it got canceled.
Yeah.
Their only conference loss at BYU, they lost by 13.
I mean, it is if there's a team in the WCC that is going to pull that upset, it's most likely BYU. They have shooters. They kind of if Gonzaga has a bad game inside. But the thing is they have no size. I also think this line, I'm interested to see what it is because KenPom has Gonzaga only winning by 8.
It got a chance to be a lot bigger than that, right?
I feel like this is like a 15-point spread. And if it's like double digits around that 15 points, around that area, I'm hammering BYU. But if it's 8 points, I think I like Gonzaga.
How many home losses do you think BYU has?
How many home losses BYU has?
Yeah.
I can answer that for you right now. They're undefeated at home.
Exactly. They aren't home losers. So Chet Holmgren, Drew Timme, whatever you got, they're 10-0 at home, and they're 7-6 everywhere else. They don't lose at home. They just don't do it. They're unbelievable at home.
So
And
you're going BYU spread, and you're going to sprinkle a little on the money line.
Yeah, that's probably my reckless bet of the weekend.
Okay. Wow.
You have to have at least one reckless bet of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. BYU spread. I just tried to write that without looking and talking at the same time, and it did not go well.
Here's a best bet that I love for you.
Hit me.
ACC action.
Okay.
UVA hosts Miami on Saturday.
Okay.
Whoever is the favorite.
Go the opposite way.
No is my best bet.
Really?
If Virginia's favored against Miami, people are going to be like, oh, but Miami. Take Virginia. If Miami's favored on the road against Virginia, we trust Miami. So this is purely a number play for me. UVA or Miami, whoever is favored, you play.
Okay.
I don't think that can count as a best bet because it's like a really specific plan of action. And if it's like a pick 'em, then what do we do? That would just be my advice for that game. I think it makes sense. Also, a fun note about UVA, they have alternated wins and losses since January 4th. It's February 2nd today. So, and they just won against Boston College. So if you want to keep the trend going, take them to lose. I think they have a chance to break this though, because then they have to play at Duke. So I think the trend will break. But a fun one to track, that's for sure.
Going back to the Gonzaga BYU, I just have to finish my thought on that. I'm staying away from that game. I want to see the official line, and then I'll make a better pick. But if the fluctuation in that, it could be 8, it could be 16. I'm staying away until I see the spread. Last game, Yukon at Villanova. Hit me with this one quick.
Why is the thrill score so low?
Is it?
Well, it's behind like some games that it feels like it's better than.
Oh, yeah, it's at 62.5, which is still pretty high.
Like, yeah, you tell me Wake Forest, Florida State's going to be more of a thrilling game. I know some of it is like close.
Oklahoma State. Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather watch – nobody's watching, those noon games that they suck. I don't want to watch like later at night. I'm not watching Mississippi State, Arkansas.
And I'm not watching Texas Tech but yeah, if we're talking at noon, these 3 games tip: Oklahoma at Oklahoma State, Wake Forest at Florida State, Connecticut at Villanova. I'm picking Villanova to watch every time. With that being said, I like Yukon to win.
I think Yukon can win this game.
Villanova's not unbeatable at home. At home this season, they have a loss, and it was a 3-point loss to Marquette. Marquette's a good team, but I think Yukon's a better team. Villanova plays Marquette tonight, so I'll be interested to see how that game plays out and how that impacts the line going into Saturday with this Yukon showdown. But Yukon's coming in hungry. Yukon's just lost by 4 to Creighton, and this is their very next game. I think they're going to want to bounce back. If they can get this win, it bolsters their resume. in a huge way. They're 15-5 right now. If they get that win, they'd be 16-5 math, and then they would be 7-3 in Big East play, and they'd all but shore up a spot in the NCAA tournament and a couple more opportunities to pick up some big wins against Xavier 2 more times, Marquette once, and Villanova 1 more time. I think this is a huge game. If they can go on the road and beat Villanova, absolutely huge.
I really like it if Villanova finds a way to beat Marquette on the road too.
And it
You'd
boosts
have
their
a Villanova team that's kind of trending in the right direction. Connecticut coming off a tough home loss going on the road, but they play really well on both ends. They've been fine the last month or whatever. I mean, their one loss in January before this February Creighton loss was overtime on the road at Seton Hall, which I think is a solid team. You look at their losses, they've all been super competitive. They haven't lost a game by more than 4 points this year. So if you get them at what is it, maybe -7 or +7 for them, and they haven't lost a game by more than 4 all year, I mean, that feels like stealing. That's free money from the guy who went 1-6 last week on Best Bets.
And they beat Auburn this year already.
In a thriller.
On a neutral court. But no, I agree. I think
that was maybe one of the games of the year. Double overtime, 115.
That and the Duke Gonzaga game.
Were they the same day?
Were they?
It was the same week.
They were exciting.
Same week, I think. I think that maybe Duke Gonzaga was Friday, but I think it was the same week.
Yeah, so we're both on Yukon there, mainly for the fact that if it's +7 all season, they haven't lost by more than 4. So it's kind of stupid that this game would be the outlier. That's a lot of great stuff. A lot of good content. A lot of great games coming up. Saturday's packed. I'm excited for Thursday too. I'm really excited for that Pac-12 showdown. It's nothing on Sunday. Not even worth mentioning. So,
yeah, it's kind of a Fresno State, Wyoming may be interesting, but yeah, it's kind of a
Loyola Chicago and someone.
Missouri State. Ken Palm actually has Missouri State favored there, so maybe take Missouri State money line in that one.
Or Loyola Chicago. Give me plus money with them. All right, you saw it's fishy. All right, moving on. So best bets. This whole podcast, you've been saying, I don't know, man, this one might be my best bet. This one might be a best bet. You're coming off of a 1-6 week.
Thanks.
You gotta bounce back somehow, dude.
I do.
You're so much in the negative. You suck.
Now I'm fired up. Thanks, coach. You know exactly how to press all my buttons. All right. Thursday, we are taking Elon money line over UNCW.
Remember, you don't have to pick 7 games.
Yeah, I'll probably pick more. So to really bounce back. If I have a 9-0 week, maybe we name the podcast after me. So
you got Elon winning, Elon money line.
Elon winning. If you're able to find an alt spread like -15, they're going to smoke them, folks.
No, they're not. Don't actually do that. Alternate spread.
Don't do that. But take that money line because that's a lock. That's a Thursday night game. We're going to take Wyoming spread. I think they'll be favored. Spread. I've changed it from I'm going back to what I said originally. Wyoming money line over Boise State. Boise State's due to lose, but they played so many close games. I'm a little scared of spread. So Wyoming money line. We love it. San Francisco BYU. I have never smelled a game that smells as much like an under as this one. This one just screams under. Everything about it feels like it's going to be an under. These teams are better defensively. These teams are sneaky slow offensively. I said that last time. I bet them for the under, went over by about 20 points. So sometimes you just have to stick to your guns and hope that it works out for the best. And I think this is the right play. So I'm taking the under in that game. Those are 3. I'm trying to make sure I didn't have anything else on Thursday. Toying with Utah State in that low throw score, but I'm not going to make it a best bet. Friday.
Okay. All right.
Friday, there are a lot of really interesting games. And by that, I mean there are almost no interesting games. Do I do anything on Friday? I do. Canisius to cover.
Stop it.
Potentially +12 at home against Iona.
Canisius
playing well at home.
Iona, okay.
It looks like +12 based on KenPom. Right. We'll see what the line closes as. Not a good team. Iona really well coached, playing great basketball. Don't care. Think they cover.
Wow, Canisius covers. Okay.
I think Canisius covers. So that Friday, if you're looking for something fun, there's that. Saturday, Alabama spread is the best bet of the weekend, maybe.
That's not at all.
We're taking that. We're sprinkling money line. We're taking Duke spread over North Carolina. We are taking BYU spread against Gonzaga.
Stop it. This is so many. Oh my God.
And I guess I can't say the Miami Virginia one's the best bet when I'm telling you to take the favorite, right? That kind of feels like cheating.
Take the one Vegas says to take.
The favorite is the play there. I guess it's not a best bet or whatever. And take Louisville money line at Syracuse.
Really? Why is that? Oh, Louisville has been playing pretty well recently.
They're playing pretty hard, so we'll take them at Syracuse money line. That just feels like a good one, even though it could be a huge letdown spot. So we like that one. And
I think you're cut off.
Is that it for me? Or I'm going to add in – we'll add in Missouri State money line over Loyola Chicago on Sunday to wrap up what could be one of the best weekends of the year. How many?
Or it could be worse than last week.
How many is that?
8.
Well, then I should add one more so I can go 9-0 like I was saying.
No, you have 9. You have 9.
That's 9?
Yep. You ready to hear this? You ready to hear this?
How many do you have? You have got 9?
I have to pitch mine after I'm going to run down yours just so we can get this correct because there's so many. You did Elon money line over UNC Dub, Wyoming money line over Boise State, San Francisco BYU under, Canisius plus 12 against Iona or whatever that line's going to be. This is terrible. Alabama spread, Duke spread, BYU spread, Louisville money line over Syracuse.
That was 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, Missouri State over Loyola Chicago.
Chicago would be my 9th. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that feels like conservatively 7-2. Realistically,
9-0.
I think 9-0. So yeah, frustrating to go 1-6 last week, but it's all pain or no pain, no gain. Whatever they say, all pain. It might all be pain. I might go 1-8.
There's no way that picking 9 games.
I think I go at least 5-4. I think I go at least 5-4.
Okay, mine are UCLA. It's looking like +7. Give me UCLA +7. It's a little dangerous to run that because of all the COVID stuff. But I think despite COVID stuff, I think they can keep it within 7. I think they can keep it close. Looking at over everything else.
You only have 1?
No, I have 2 more.
Okay.
And one of them's going to fade you. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Kentucky spread over
sucker bet
over Alabama. I mean, we'll talk after when you're 1-8 and I'm 3-0 because I just hit my 3-0s. And then and then I got a Friday best bet because I love Friday best bets. Richmond +4, which is what it's looking like, whatever that line is, mostly
probably -4.
Richmond over the Bonnies of St. Bonaventure. I feel bad doing that because I was so high on St. Bonaventure out of the A10 to start the season, but man, have they faded, and Richmond's kind of coming on late. So that's the breakdown.
Let the record reflect. It's probably -4.
Thank you so much. It is. It's going to be -4. I don't know why I said
because if you're taking the alt spread +4,
there's no value.
You got some bad, But yeah, I actually like that one. I don't know. Maybe I'll sneak that in as my 10th. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not allowed to.
But they burned us. They burned us last week when they were at home. They played VCU. At least I was on. I guess they
burned you.
I was like, you're undefeated. How'd they burn you? Yeah, but they did burn me. They lost by 2 against VCU, and I still think Richmond can fight its way back onto the bubble.
I think they can fight their way onto the bubble. I don't think they're making it. I think their best bet's to win the A10.
Yeah, I mean,
which they can do.
But if they can pick up the next 3.
Their next 3 against St. Bonaventure, Mason, and
you'd be 17-8, and you're looking like
and you're 8-4.
The issue is they really don't have good wins. That's what's killing them.
And they're not that great offensively or defensively. Their best win this season is what? Rhode Island? No, Toledo.
Ooh. Toledo, according to Ken Palm, they got the
right
NC
home
State
about that
neutral
one.
site. Yeah, so that's probably what's killing them right now. That's where Bonnie's be their best win, or at least one of their best wins, maybe second best win.
Yep. All right. Anything else you got to add?
No, I think the 9 best bets cover it.
Perfect. So where can people find you as they can watch you just melt away as your 9 best bets are losing?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at Bennett Conlin, Bennett. And last name Conlin. Find me there, and I don't know if I'll be live tweeting it, but may head out to the BetMGM Sportsbook on Saturday.
Ooh.
At Nats Park that just opened for a little story there. So I think that's a plan to visit that at some point. If I don't do it this weekend, probably in the next few months. So stay tuned for some stuff there, and then all that good Southeast coverage, tracking some Virginia bills for the Virginia followers. Looks like it's going to be there are some bills to allow betting on Virginia colleges in Virginia. Seems like that's not going to pass. So if you're living in Virginia, you'll have to stay, offshore if you're trying to bet JMU, UVA, Virginia Tech, all the elite FBS football programs in the fall.
Specifically JMU. So for Bennett Conlin, you can check us out at drf.com/sports. Follow us on Twitter at DRF_sports and at DRF Sports on Instagram. You can also check out our brother, sister, cousin podcast. They go more in depth on the hows and whys of betting. We talk it as like two novice bettors who just enjoy watching college basketball and enjoy betting. But they talk about it as professional bettors, and that's the DRF Sports Podcast. You can find that in the Apple Podcast Store, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. Tell your friends about us. Give us a like, rate, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. And we'll see you next Thursday after Bennett goes 1-8 in his best bets. See ya. Thanks for listening to the DRF College Sports Podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. For more sports betting advice, go to drf.com/sports, and you can follow DRF Sports on Twitter at DRF_sports.